now Lyn Provost, the Auditor General. Lyn is the only person I know who said to me that she has always wanted to be Controller and Auditor General. So when she achieved that high office, and it is high office because it's a very important role, as you know, she'd had a career which included senior roles with the State Services Commission, Archives New Zealand, and probably best known as the Deputy Commissioner of Police Resource Management. Now, of course, as Controller and Auditor General, we know her as the person that is always called when there is a very, very messy stoush. And MPs on both sides call on her to do all sorts of things, and she is often asked to deduce the facts as to what is going on. And so she's become involved in the ACC controversy concerning Bronwyn Puller. And I heard this morning on Morning Report a suggestion that the SFO be involved in the John Banks matter concerning anonymous donations and, of course, the Office of the Auditor General. So it is not an easy role. You have to be scrupulously apolitical. And because Lyn plays that role so well, a lot of people ask her to carry out these difficult political issues because they trust that she will get to the bottom of these matters and she will do so in an impartial way. So, Lyn, come and talk to us about your role as Auditor General.
Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Public entities are accountable to this place, to Parliament, or to local government for their use of public resources and powers. And it's the Auditor General's role to assist Parliament and councils to scrutinise the effectiveness, efficiency and accountability of those public agencies. We aim as an organisation that our audit and assurance work improves the performance of the public sector and the public's trust in our public sector. I audit, through my providers, 4,000 public agencies. They range from the SOEs to local authorities, to government departments, to Crown entities, and at the smaller end of the spectrum, cemetery boards. Independence from the executive is very precious to an Auditor General. We are independent in all things that we do in auditing, and our main tool of trade is reporting. Those reports are based on audit processes, they're based on evidence, and very importantly, they make unfettered and independent judgments. To give you some sense of the range of things we report on the controller function. That's the controller part of my title. And in that function, we ensure that public expenditure is firstly within appropriation and secondly for a legal purpose. Secondly, we report 4,000 or close to 4,000 audit opinions on the public entities every year. About 85% of our effort is in that particular function. We report on our performance audits. Recent examples of performance audits are the Blood Service, housing on multiply owned Maori land, and the quality of drinking water. We also report guidelines, which many people use as a set of expectations when they are dealing with particular issues. Some of those that Mai's talked about in her book are managing conflicts of interest, procurement and charging fees. We also report on special studies. Currently we're rolling out all of the fraud surveys across the 10 sectors that we audit. And recently we also put out a discussion paper on the emissions trading scheme. Mai in her book talks quite extensively about our inquiry function. It is the high-profile part of our role, and you might remember the report on the plumbers, gas fitters and drain layers, and there have also been a number of reports on ministerial and parliamentary services. As Mai said, we are currently doing inquiries into the ACC board governance and into Kaipara District Council, and one of the things about being in the media is you get more. I understand we had 24 inquiries last week. We'd usually get 2 or 3. And finally, in terms of reporting, each year I report to Parliament on the high-level results of all of the audits, usually on a sectoral basis, and the most recent ones of those have been the health report and the local government report. We also this year introduced a briefing for incoming select committees on the transport sector. So rather than looking at it entity by entity, we looked at a sector. All of our reports, except the 4,000 audit opinions, are available on the OAG website for anyone to download or get. And from today, you can also ask us on Facebook or Twitter, for those of you who are more literate than me. So that briefly sums up my role and how we as an office perform it. I'd like to finish on one specific matter, namely our annual work programme. It's apt because the Speaker tabled the draft work programme for 2012-13 in the House this afternoon. And this proposed work programme will now be referred to a select committee, to all the select committees to consider and provide feedback. And we will finalise the plan as required by legislation by the 30th of June. Mai's described the requirement for consultation on the work programme as a novel requirement, and it is. It's also very useful to my office because it allows us to gauge the amount of interest and the usefulness of our proposed work. As well as Parliament, we also consult with those agencies who will be part of that work programme, the central agencies, Local Government New Zealand, etc. It's also on our website for any public input to the programme. This year, we have done our programme under the theme, Our Future Needs is the Public Sector Ready. Obviously, we can't give assurance across the entire scope of that theme, so we've designed a programme of work to look at topics that people told us were of interest or of concern for New Zealand's future, and we're very much looking forward to the feedback. Mai, congratulations on your comprehensive book on public law. I've no doubt it will be well read and used. Kia ora tātou.